Yes. Welcome in. It's Balloon Party 101 ESPN. My name is Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. And we only have an hour, and I don't have the time for Jackson to waste it with talking NBA free agency. I want the wide berth Wednesday, and I want it now.
You want it right now?
Boy, John Fitzgerald, Eric Nickens, they're all in there. Wait. Oh, there's Don Pepe. Man, they're all in there waiting for us, Jackson.
It is nice.
Wide Berth Wednesday, 314-399-9646. Air Comfort Service text line is how you can be a friend of the Feather and get involved in the show, or just watch us. YouTube chat. There I am. And there's Jackson. I'm watching myself. Droid, you survived California. Yeah, they're talking to Droid and Dan Jansen. Johnny Fitzgerald's in there. John Scores. Man, it's all happening today. What's the problem?
I got a creaky mic.
Marsh. Jackson, I feel like you're starting to earn respect around 101 ESPN.
Feel like it.
Do you have the audio?
I do. From
the fast lane?
I do.
This is a huge moment for Jackson Bennett Burkett.
Yep. I'll give just a touch of context.
Hi, Randy Carricker.
Hi, Randy.
Hi, we're being green.
Yeah, Andy's emptying the...
Looking great, by the way, too.
I do like the orange. It's like Ricky. Jackson, here it is.
Yeah, so just a brief context around it. The Fast Lane, I'm sure many of you listen because they're wonderful. They do the lineup game, which came out very early today, 11:40 first pitch. And then after that, they do home run derby. They pick someone to hit a home run. I gave Jamie Rivers a little tip because I did a little research. I gave him, you just take a listen to the audio.
All right. Munoz. By the way, I had a little research team myself, put some things together.
Gyro Munoz?
Yeah. Munoz, a righty. 71% of the time he throws a fastball. Batting average against his four seam is 368.
Did you just, pull the notes out from somebody else?
I had a psychopath put this together for me.
Nice. Is it Karen?
No, she writes way prettier than this. So, who did you pick?
Brandon Crawford.
Yeah, I'm going with Paul Goldschmidt. Goldie barrels the ball way better than anybody against these fastballs. So, by the way, this was DJ Piddles with the help on this one. Wow. He was bored. He said he's going to do a deep dive. He came up with all sorts of great stats on this. So, if Goldie fails, Piddles, you're fired.
All right, there you go.
First at bat, Paul Goldschmidt, yard work.
A little Oppo taco for you. Yeah. Yeah, that's what data said. And I honestly, I said, if you can't get Goldie, if Marshy picks before you and he takes Goldie, take Brendan Donovan.
And then he goes yard.
Listen, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie, and I'm willing to put in the work. That's what I'm willing to do, not only for the station, but for the listeners, for the audience. I will provide you that information. I will do it. I will do the work.
Oh, my gosh.
I will do the work.
You're a whole new guy today. Now that the NBA season's over, you can focus in on McDavid dragging him back to Alberta, as he said he was going to do.
Yep.
The Cardinals mounting a Sunday charge starting today at 11:40. And giving Jamie Rivers picks to click on the fast lane.
Yeah, I wanted to help out my guy Jamie yesterday. Just get the energy, pump some tires up. I'm going to start dedicating my life to doing good for others, which in turn will do good for me.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I'm going to start living a much more
philanthropic.
Yeah, very philanthropic lifestyle will be going forward. So if anyone needs anything from me, just let me know.
All right. If you want anything from Jackson, go ahead and text it in or in the YouTube chat, 314-399-9646. Or you can just post it in the YouTube chat. So that's something that we're going to offer up on this Wide Berth Wednesday. Whatever you want, Jackson will take care of, kind of like Don Corleone. No disrespect to Don Pepe. I want that clear.
Yes, no disrespect to any of the Dons of five families. Of
the heads of the five families.
Midday Sports Talk Radio.
That's correct.
It's a powerful group. I guess we'll get into this Wide Berth Wednesday. Last night...
the pause was just too long.
You think?
Yeah. The pause initially was comfortable, and then it became uncomfortable. Because we were a split second away from me going, oh, no, he went elsewhere, as I know you're one to do.
I am. I'm thinking.
So then I was like, yeah, Cardinals and Marlins, here's the lineup. I didn't know what we had.
We do have that.
Oh, well, then give the people the lineup.
All right. Leading off.
Day game.
God,
it's going to be packed.
Oh, yeah, you better believe it. Kyle Gibson on the bump.
Yep, back from bereavement.
First up, leading off, Mason Wynn. He'll be playing shortstop. Hitting second and playing right field will be Alec Burleson. Hitting third, playing first will be Paul Goldschmidt. Batting cleanup and playing second base is Nolan Gorman. Playing third base back after Brandon Crawford was going to play, and then Mason Wynn got sick and the whole thing. But Nolan Arenado back in the lineup today. He'll be hitting 5th and playing third base. Brendan Donovan in left field hitting 6th. Matt Carpenter, lefty on righty, DHing today hitting 7th. Pedro Pejas will be behind the plate hitting 8th. And Michael Ciani playing center and hitting 9th.
There it is. Jackson's giving you the lineup.
You know,
Marsh
is really good at reading the lineup. Like, he does it so smooth and naturally. And I'm jealous, honestly. So I'm trying my best to mimic that.
Yeah, you do get jealous of him.
I heard his SportsCenter update yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, it just clears mine by a million miles.
Really? What is it that he does well outside of acknowledge the NHL existing?
Right. Yeah, well, we'll never agree on that. But he did some sort of accent work with the Saliga heating and cooling tag at the end, and it was unbelievable. I can't do that. I don't have the vocal range.
Really?
This is why this guy calls games, and I just sit here Googling stats, trying to pull something out of my tush.
Well, you did for Jamie Rivers. You did for me.
Yeah, got paid. Yeah. I had a little skin in the game myself.
Yeah.
But, no, Marshy clears, broadcasting-wise, talent-wise, clears me. Holy hell.
Man.
Listen, you got to admit when someone in the same locker room is just...
You just tip your cap, you doff your cap to him?
Glad he's on my team is what I'd say. Glad he's on my team.
Ryan Crawford says everyone's jealous of poor Marsh.
Poor Marsh.
Yeah, you just read what's in the teleprompter. That's what he said.
What do you mean? You see that head of hair on that guy? Talk about the genetic lottery. Yeah, him and Rockio, both. Yeah. Incredible heads
Wonderful
of hair.
heads of hair on the station.
Yeah.
We have more HD2 hair.
We do, yes. I think we are the leaders in the building on HD2 hair per capita.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, volume hair. All right, let's get into this Wide Berth Wednesday.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a Wide Berth Wednesday.
So I'm just gonna briefly touch on the game last night. Extra innings loss to the Marlins. Was the last night an example of resting the guys in the bullpen on certain days to allow time to reset while also getting other arms opportunities in high leverage situations? By that point, can we be mad about a loss in which what we wanted came to fruition?
Well, I mean, I feel like you're talking to yourself here because I wasn't necessarily.
Yeah, I'm talking to myself.
Okay, so then.
No, I can't be.
Okay, all right, there you go.
I would have loved for Roycroft to cover the bag on a infield chopper.
Yeah, the weird thing is that his momentum carries him toward first base. So that was just, you could see the look on Goldschmidt's face like, where are you?
Yeah. He's like looking to flip it to somebody and there's no one covering.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, you could say that cost him. They obviously gave up a hit right after that, which drove in the tying run, and then all hell break loose after that. But I think you operate a little differently if there's 2 outs in the inning and a runner on third as opposed to 1 out and runners on first and third. So in that sense, but I also can't be mad because this is literally what I said yesterday. I said you got to give guys like Roycroft, guys like my guy John King, who was outstanding last night, opportunities in high leverage situations, close games, so that in case guys like Helsley or Romero or Kittredge ever get hurt or they needed much needed time off, they're prepared, they're tested. And the only way to do that is putting those in situations like that. So I can't be mad. I can be upset that Chris Roycroft didn't cover the bag, but I can't be mad that he was out there.
Okay.
That's where I am.
Helsley not available.
Helsley not available. Kittredge
not available.
Romero not available.
So they had to navigate back-to-back extra inning games in Miami.
It's tough. It's not where you want with Miami. You prefer, but I mean, Lance Lynn, I feel like game by game, it's just it's like 4 or 5 innings at best, and usually 4 or 5 earned runs. Like, he's actually kind of the guy outside of the roving 5th starter spot where you're just like, I have no confidence going into this game, and I hope that changes. But when you look at Gibson,
racks up the pitch count early in the start.
Yeah, he does. And you look at Gibson, Michaelis, and Gray maybe even being the exception there, have been really outstanding and getting through games, deeper into games, and giving the bullpen some rest. Lance Lynn, not the case. Cardinals will try to win the series this morning in Miami. Love an 11:40 first pitch. Love. Yeah, you love the starts on these things. Oh, yeah. 5:10 last night. Oh, perfect. I mean, if you wake up early, this is, the last thing was like a West Coast start at 9:10. That stinks. So I'm a big fan of the 5:10 start in Miami. Try to win the series and then head off to Birmingham to take on the Giants and honor legend Willie Mays. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I have a question about him. Oh, right. Several questions about him. Oh, let's go. All right, let's do it right now. Where were you going to go? You're going to go Oil and Panther? Is that where you're going next? Have that too. Where are you going with question 2 then? I was going Willie Mays. Oh, okay. Well, perfect. Yeah. My father texted me last night that Willie Mays is the greatest player he's ever seen. Said, I heard Tim Kirkchin saying that watching SportsCenter this morning.
And I think he wrote about it as well. The best player he ever said, most complete player.
Yeah, total, like the definition of a five-tool player, and there's larger than life. You know, like a guy mythologized, kind of like Babe Ruth in the sense where it's just like Willie Mayes is say hey kid, and obviously his catch stands for itself. But yeah, my father texted me that upon review, best players ever seen. Grant Bisbee wrote a story in The Athletic today about Willie Mayes, and my favorite line was, Willie Mayes existed and the world was better because of it. A true legend and icon of not only baseball, but sports in general and American culture. Being in the sports world for almost a quarter century yourself, Tim, have you heard any really cool Willie Mayes stories in your day? Second, are the days of larger-than-life legends gone because the mystique or mythology of these guys are gone due to our increased access to them?
No, I don't think so in that. I don't. Because I feel like we have that right now, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think we have larger-than-life guys, but I'm talking about like the mystique, the mythology behind it. I guess that probably helps in time. You know, as time passes, guys get more mythologized about. Like I'm sure in 30 years, Tom Brady will be more so in that camp.
Yeah, but I do think even, you know, when he was going from the Patriots to the Buccaneers, it was, you know, this guy is the greatest of all time, and now and then he goes and wins a Super Bowl to add to it. So yeah, I think that still goes on. You do, I gather you do not. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking the question.
I disagree personally because, like, I think because we have so much access to them, whether it be social media, increased platforms to view guys on, I just think that people like view them more as humans and less as legends in general. I think, Tom Brady's a perfect example. Guy's getting roasted. He's had a situation with his ex-wife. I just feel like guys like Michael Jordan, Willie Mays, Babe Ruth, these guys are Mickey Mantle, just legends. That way, like, you hear the name and you think of the legacy behind them. But now, like, if you think of Patrick Mahomes, you can be like, oh, yeah, him and his wife or his brother. You know, like, just the increased access to people, I feel, has limited some of that mythology to some athletes. And I could be proven wrong.
Yeah,
I could understand
Michael
people.
Jordan's divorce, Babe Ruth was, he enjoyed himself, so to speak. I don't know. I don't see it. If anything, actually, honestly, you know, I was in the building for Brady's first Super Bowl, and my feeling is, and the data may prove otherwise, that we've seen quarterbacks who I actually thought were better quarterbacks in the 21st century, for that matter, than Tom Brady. But the determination, I feel like, in the NFL is the rings, and that's it.
Yeah, especially for
God, there isn't a more team sport than football, where if the defense sucks, and Kurt Warner had I guess Falk won the MVP in 2000, but you had Falk and Warner in 2000, but the Rams defense was dreadful, and so the team didn't get past the first round of the playoffs. So I don't know. I'm not. But point being, Tom Brady is viewed in the moment as the greatest of all time. And I think because it's already there, I think it will only increase with time, that he will be the benchmark. I suppose if Mahomes wins, 4 or 5 more Super Bowls, then he could surpass it. For example, let me put it this way. Patrick Mahomes impresses me more than Tom Brady.
Would agree.
Okay.
Would agree.
But, Tom Brady is, you ask, football fans, who's the greatest of all time, and granted, Mahomes is much earlier in his career. Brady's nearly 20 years a senior, might be 20 years a senior, actually. The answer is going to be, 95+% Tom Brady. Yeah. But I feel like I could also go back to a Peyton Manning or Joe Montana, and Brady just never struck. My reason for bringing this up, and I'm not looking to get like greatest quarterback of all time, my God, hackneyed debate. But what I'm trying to say is I just am not, I feel like sometimes legends are byproducts of other factors.
Yep. Yeah. I'm totally with you.
So like if Brady looked like me, assuming that I was over 5'4", and could see over the line of scrimmage,
which is the only thing keeping you back from greatness.
I didn't want to say that, but thank you for saying it. You took the cue. I don't know if I don't, and if the Patriots had a crap defense. Right. So I just, and I don't think he had a couple Super Bowls that weren't really great, but they still won them. So I don't know.
Yeah, and on the same topic of, like, I'm not trying to get into GOAT conversations, no interest in that, but I do think there's a difference between, like, greatest of all time and best of all time, as weird as that might sound. Like, I don't think Tom Brady is the most talented player of all time, but he's certainly the greatest. There, but I won't. I digress.
I don't understand what we're saying right there.
I digress.
Well, you can't just like say something and then because I asked you to follow up on it, then you go, well, I'm going to digress.
Well, like I'm saying, like I think Tom Brady, because of the...
You don't think he's the best, but you think he's the greatest. What are we doing here today? What are we doing out here today?
By like greatest, like you can only do what you can do given your circumstances. Tom Brady had a wonderful infrastructure with an incredible coach and a great
So therefore,
ownership.
most successful.
Right. He did as much as humanly possible with what he's given.
We can do that.
And
but then the best
is like the most talented person who you think.
And who's that?
That's a great question. Maybe Montana would be there. Maybe, I mean, Mahomes right now at this point, if he can keep it up, win a couple more, I would certainly put him in that category.
Patrick Mahomes, for me, is the quarterback when I go, I can't believe he did that. Mm-hmm. Whether it be scrambling to get a first down, staying up to make a throw, making certain throws. I just go, you know, holy crap. And then he wins.
Yeah.
You know, you can have some guys who are wildly entertaining, but it's anarchy and actually probably carries more risk than reward. So, and perhaps as time goes on, he will be viewed that way. But I think as time goes on, Brady's legacy will be up there with probably people from my generation view Jordan.
Yeah.
And then it drives people up the wall who are, you know, from the next generation on, take your pick of whether it be Kobe or LeBron.
Right. Right.
You know,
and
in my mind, it's like, I don't even know how you can have the conversation about anybody other than Jordan, but I know that drives some people up the wall.
Yeah, I'll use that example, and I'm Icarus right now, trying to avoid the hackneyed son.
Greek mythology.
Trying to avoid the hackneyed son, not fly too
all about
close.
Greek mythology.
But like that is a better example I have than quarterbacks. Like I think Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player.
Okay.
The greatest.
Right.
But I will not be convinced otherwise that LeBron James, the most talented basketball player to ever lace up shoes.
I don't understand what we're doing again.
Again, that's why I'm like, Jordan is the great. He won 6. He only played in 6.
LeBron's the best.
But there is no one more talented at the sport of basketball, in my opinion, than LeBron James. But I think there is a difference. It's hard to explain, but I will say that.
Well, we have 40 minutes. I would love for you to attempt.
I just don't.
Because you're fascinating me right now.
I don't think there's a more complete, smarter basketball player that has ever existed. I think the most talented. He just played in a different era where it's harder to win 6 championships. I'm not saying to
so then
discredit.
You think LeBron is the greatest?
No, I think Jordan is the greatest.
But you just said nobody's ever been more complete than LeBron James.
As a basketball player, just straight talent-wise. Like as a straight tool. Like I think Willie Mayes might be like the best, most talented baseball player of all time. But Ruth is the greatest. And I think there is a difference.
I feel like I should have dropped acid before today's show, and then it might make more sense to me.
This is just
maybe I will. Maybe I'll go use the little wizard's room.
I think there is a difference.
A stall, and they'll hear me vomiting aggressively, and then I'll come back in, and it'll all make sense to me.
Right. Well, like Jordan, I don't think is as talented as LeBron, but he is greater because he won 6 championships. He did it with mentality and just an unbelievable like drive to win. That's what makes him the greatest. I think Kobe has a lot of that, but I think the most talented basketball player of all time is LeBron. And again, I'm trying to avoid the hackneyed son of this debate, which will go on First Take for the next 6 months.
All right, it will, actually. Jackson has given his takes. You're welcome to give yours. 314-399-9646. Air Comfort Service text line. The YouTube chat is where you can hang out. And guess what? Phil Gallagher says, I get exactly what Piddles is saying. So there you go. You got Phil Gallagher.
That's all I need. I told myself today.
You got it.
I looked in my mirror and I said, if Phil Gallagher is on my side today, then I've won.
Then you've won. Well, then that means you've won. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of the Wide Berth Wednesday here. We're going to be doing QFTA today, by the way, at 11:30 on the TMA YouTube channel, youtube.com/TMASTL. Your questions, your comments, hate mail is welcome. It's encouraged. TMCKERNAN at InsideSTL.com. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota on 101 ESPN. Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota, presenting sponsor of Balloon Party, and I was out there yesterday dropping off my vehicle to the delightful Ryan Seiberg in the service department. You remember that hailstorm a few weeks ago here in the St. Louis area? Well, they are fixing things up at Munganess St. Louis Acura for me, and I recommend they fix things up for you, whether it be maintenance, repair, whatever it is. Work with Munganess St. Louis Acura and Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota. They're online at stlouisacura.com. They're online at altontoyota.com. And they have a secret number for our listeners. That's 314-252-0029. Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota. And the loaner car that I have while they're repairing my vehicle is a 2024 Acura MDX Premium. And as I was driving it around last night and this morning on my way to the station, I thought, holy moly, this is a wonderful vehicle. Maybe I need to make the move. Well, you can. $589 a month, no money down for a 48-month lease. That's at Acura, Munganess St. Louis Acura, and at Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota. Now, just ask for the TMA Loyal Listener discount. That's what you get. No money down, $589 a month for a 2024 Acura MDX Premium. Sweet mother of mercy. It's Munganess St. Louis Acura, Munganess Burkhardt Alton Toyota. It's Balloon Party 101 ESPN. My name's Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Bennett Burkett. And the program is one that solicits your involvement via YouTube and the Air Comfort Service text line. The YouTube channel has cameras presented to you by the Air Alliance team. Jackson Bennett Burkett is presented to you by America. And he is the Wide Berth Wednesday. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the pride of Horton Watkins, class of 2016.
That's right.
Jackson Burkett.
Presented by America.
Right.
Oh, my God. That right there is good stuff. Well, speaking of America, we had a little Canada versus America battle last night.
Yeah, does it make me anti-America that I'm pulling for the oil?
Makes you pro-North America.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a nice spin.
Nice.
The Oilers were able to do the stave-off shuffle last night and send the series back to Northern Canada for a pivotal Game 6 in their own barn. Does that performance with their back against the wall tell you that we could be witnessing history this series? Or do you fear we may be getting a similar Panther mindset to the Blues, where now they can go on the road unencumbered by the stresses and baggage that come with winning at home?
God, I like the question because I was kind of thinking that as well last night as the Oil took that lead. Yeah, for the record, to give context, we had Maroon on. I think it was a week ago today.
A week ago today, yep.
Maroon. And when he was on a podcast with me, he said, we knew, as weird as it may sound to people, we knew when we were flying from St. Louis to Boston for Game 7 that we were going to win. And he said the reason we knew is that we knew the guys in the Bruins were going to have to deal with all the crap that we were dealing with leading into Game 6 and how they just felt like they came out flat. Now, of course, we know that Boston came out far from flat in Game 7. It was just Jordan Binnington was able to outperform them. With that all established, I was wondering that. But 24 hours ago, the narrative was, well, the Panthers wanted to win it at home, so they didn't really care, and that's why that game in Edmonton went the way that it did. I mean, Connor McDavid said, let's drag them back to Alberta. We're going back to Edmonton one way or the other. Let's drag them back with us. That was their mantra, and sure enough, they have. And so you got to fly across the continent to play a Game 6 when they would have preferred to have been celebrating in Miami with the Celtics, who booked a flight to Miami.
They did, yeah. They're in Miami right now.
They could have been there hanging out. Yeah, I just I don't know. I like the oil.
Yeah, this would be unbelievable.
I like the oil. The Oilers have had 4 different chances to watch their opposition win the Stanley Cup on their ice in the organization's history, and it's never happened. An opposing team has never skated around their barn hoisting the chalice. Well, Florida's going to have an opportunity to do it on Friday night.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about yesterday about like the don't let us get
Nobody's
this one.
been able to do it.
Yeah.
The Oilers always win.
Yeah. We talked yesterday like the...
Give me a Game 7, Jackson.
all you want.
Give me a Game 7 with the Stanley Cup final on the line, especially with a Canadian team.
Oh, Bill. But that's, we were talking about the Red Sox-Yankees thing where I think it was Kevin Millar just said, like, don't let us win this one. And if you're Oilers last night, you're saying to them, don't let us win this one because they got to fly 7.5 hours up to Canada. Home barn. We never lose at home in the Stanley Cup final. And then in Game 7, anything can happen. We've seen that time and time again.
I will be so locked in with nerves, even though I will have like very little emotional investment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I want Edmonton to win, but if I got a Game 7 and a Stanley Cup final with a Canadian team involved, and you got the St. Louis and Matthew Tkachuk, see Walter. Well, I know you didn't, but they showed Keith Tkachuk sitting in the stands last night with his Obi Clark's hat on.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah. I think it was great follow on Twitter. Kyle Reese does a lot of the minor league baseball stuff for the Cardinals. Said, why would you watch playoff hockey, overtime hockey in the playoffs when you could just drive out of a helicopter and a motorcycle? Nice. Same level of excitement. I also have to give a tip of the cap, Tim, to a texter. I have to. I hope it's
Great Ape Auto Detailing.
It's Thanks Dad, who's a loyal listener.
Yeah, I'm a big Thanks Dad guy as well.
And in reference to my Jordan being the greatest, LeBron being the best, and me being presented by America for this segment, he said, make America best again. And I had to say,
thanks, Dad.
I said, thanks, Dad. That's a tip of the cap right there.
Game 7 this year in the NHL will slap. That's from Willie. Game 7 usually does slap. I mean, this also is, if you recall a couple weeks ago, I said the optimal thing for the NHL, in my opinion, would have been if you could have gotten McDavid in the Stanley Cup final against New York to have the stage of Madison Square Garden for him to, because he is having a record-breaking Stanley Cup playoff season. I mean, these are Gretzky-esque numbers that he's putting up, 4 points last night. And, he's just been ridiculous. Well, many people who would not consider themselves hockey fans will tune in for Game 7 should it happen. And yes, it'll happen. You would. You would.
100%. If there's a Game 7.
What if Caitlin Clark has a shoot-around?
I got 2 TVs. And that might go on the auxiliary TV. But if there's a Game 7 Stanley Cup Finals, without question, I have eyeballs on set. Television set.
You'd have the Cardinals and the Giants. You'd have the Travelers signature event, and then you'd have the Panthers and the Oilers. Sal in.
Yeah, have my tweet deck open with Woj and Sham so I can keep following free agency.
Yeah.
This is great.
You got it all go. Everything's happening for you now.
Everything's coming up piddles.
Everything's coming up piddles. Yeah, I would love to see it. I would love to see it. Yeah, drag them back to Alberta. I loved that.
Love that.
Drag them back to Alberta. I mean, that's the way that it usually works if you're going.
Yeah, you'd have to drag me there. Promise you that.
No.
I would go to Vancouver or Whistler or Banff. Seem like some of the nicest.
Banff's in Alberta.
A little further south, if we're being frank.
Right, but I thought we were talking Alberta.
Well, yeah, you can drag me to parts of Alberta, preferably not Edmonton, but Vancouver, Whistler, Banff.
I feel like the equity you bought with Jamie Rivers by giving him Paul Goldschmidt on his picks to click yesterday.
Well, everyone knows I'm a big Ontario guy.
You lost it by mocking America's hat.
No, I'm a big Ontario guy.
Okay.
People know I love Ontario.
People do know that.
Jamie hails from Ontario, I think. And
same town as Alanis Morissette.
Oh, another Canadian legend. 2 Canadian legends just mentioned in the last.
More of Alanis Morissette songs go.
I know Jagged Little Piddles was something I used for.
That was her album title. Wow.
Doug?
Jeez.
I don't know. Sorry.
That's gonna.
I know she's a Canadian legend, but I don't know.
You can't name a song.
Nope. No, I cannot.
All right. What about the one about Dave Coulier?
Cut it out.
That
the Red Wings guy.
That was. That was featured in Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I would think that then you could get home.
Dave Coulier was in Curb.
The song was featured when Alanis Morissette was playing a private event at one of the homes.
Oh. No. Was that the Freak Book episode?
Listen, you always go back to the Freak Book episode.
So good.
If there's one thing we know, it's Jackson never stops gushing over Ontario on this show.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you
Eric
for saying
Nickens.
it. Thank you. I really do want to go to Vancouver. That's if we're talking about somewhat domestic vacations I could take, domestic being obviously crossing a border, not an ocean.
Nice.
Vancouver and Whistler would be right at the very top.
All right.
Cool weather, but still
What about
warm.
just going to the lake?
Like Tahoe?
No.
Finger Lakes?
The Ozarks.
Oh. No, thanks.
Unbelievable.
Only lakes in Ontario. Erie? Superior? Probably both.
Both.
Yeah.
He got game. Jesus Shuttlesworth. Your thoughts. 314-399-9646. And then you can participate with Eric Nickens and John, is it Shansley? Schnosley?
I like the Shansley. I like that. That's a good name.
And then Johnny Fitzgerald and John Scores. They're in there and they're talking it over. It's
Great
the YouTube
Americans.
chat, 101 ESPN. Time for us to break. This is Balloon Party 101 ESPN.
This is Action Jackson, Sports Center Update. And that's driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night, the Cardinals lose to the Marlins. Final score of 8-7. They'll take on the Marlins again in the rubber match today, 11:40 a.m. First pitch down there in Miami. Kyle Gibson on the bump for the Cardinals. And last night, Stanley Cup Finals, the Oilers defeat the Panthers 5-3. That makes the series 3-2 as they now head back to Alberta. You can catch Game 6 right here on 101 ESPN. Pre-game will start at 6:30. Puck drop at 7:30. Oilers, Panthers, Stanley Cup Final. That was our Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back to Balloon Party 101 ESPN. My name is Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Bennett Burkett. Watch the show on the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. And let me know what you would rank me on a 1 to 10 and what you would rank Jackson on a 1 to 10. But keep in mind, his scale is a Ladue 1 to 10 and mine is a South City 1 to 10. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like grading on a curve.
I would say that's accurate. Yeah. How people want to interpret that is their own business.
But I am getting some fillers this week.
Right, and the leg surgery is coming in the fall.
That's correct. Fall time is here.
So, yeah, by Q1 of 25, Tim will be 6'5" and full head of hair.
Can you even imagine?
Clear out.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah. Jinx Coke. Jackson, what is question 3 or 4 of the Little Piddles Wide Berth Wednesday?
Big news in terms of baseball technology, Tim. AAA Baseball is rolling out automatic balls and strikes. A landmark moment in baseball, and technology is ever growing in symbiotic relationship. It will not be full automatic balls and strikes, I'll call it ABS, calling every pitch, but rather a challenge system that allows managers to challenge pitch location calls throughout the game. Pacific League teams in AAA will get 3 challenges per game and will retain if they are right. International League teams will get 2 and retain if they are right. Based on Jason Stark's reporting in The Athletic, it seems like Major League Baseball surveyed fans, players, and managers on all these things to get the right recipe. If this is successful, do you think MLB will soon implement, and do you think it will have a material effect on the viability of the product? We have seen multiple articles about attendance climbing league-wide in the pitch clock era, with last weekend's league-wide attendance being the best since '08. Could baseball bring itself back with quality, competitive judgment, brick by brick?
That was aggressive there at the end, but I love it. Let me say that. I love it. That's me. I've been swimming in raw sewage. I love it. Naked Gun, Leslie Nielsen, 1988. Think about that. I want you to think. You don't even need to look it up. It is just to save yourself the time. So I love the system too. I liked when I'd be watching NBA playoff games that coaches would have the option to challenge that which used to be a judgment call.
Yep.
You had the call that fouled out Luka Doncic in Game 4.
Yep, one of the most obvious block calls. Game 3. They lost Game 4.
Jackson, Tyson, Jordan. Game 6. Yeah, this was Game 3. So I like it. Big fan. Big fan of the implementation of it.
Yeah. Yeah, they said...
I hope that we will see it in Major League Baseball. I think it'll be wonderful.
Yeah, they said Jason Stark did some wonderful reporting on The Athletic about it, and they said that when they surveyed fans and players as well, that once it got into the 6 challenge range, it got a little much, got a little annoying, but 3 to 4 was kind of the perfect sweet spot. And I mean, think how big of a difference that can make. I mean, we saw last night with the Rockies and the Dodgers. Teoscar Hernandez hits a home run to the opposite field after a pretty bad missed swing call there, and the Dodgers end up winning the game. I mean, we're just trying to get it right. There's a different, trying to get it right. It's not every call will be automatic. It'll still have the human element, but at least in very important pitches, they can take a look at it.
Eric Nickens says, I've seen some minor league games use it, and it goes pretty quickly. I'll allow it, so he is going to allow it.
Yeah, I hope, because I think the biggest problem right now with baseball in terms of challenges and replay is how long it takes, man. The idea that
they've sped that up versus when it started.
For sure, but there's still the thing where if there's another review going on at the same time, Major League Baseball has to put it into a queue and prioritize it because they're looking at one play in New York. I think that's really weird, but baseball's got its quirks. So hopefully this will continue the implementation of technology in sport and getting it right, because ultimately isn't that what we want? We want to get it right.
Yes, I agree with you.
Every day before the show, I say I just want to get it right, and I fail almost every day. But the days I do it, I feel good.
You're a champion to me. You're a champion to me into this audience, actually.
I feel like one. I feel like a star. Big star.
Phil Gallagher says it absolutely was a swing. It was an awful call.
Right. That's,
You and Phil Gallagher.
we're in lockstep today.
Yeah.
I feel great about
like
that.
that.
Guys
What's going on
named
with you?
Phil always have some sort of gravitation towards me.
Give me an example of that.
I don't want to out anybody. Just know, like, if your name's Phil, we're probably going to be good buddies.
You in a relationship with a guy named Phil?
No. I'm Marty Monogamy. You know that.
All right.
I'm a
That's fair, right.
one-person kind of guy.
All right. This was a very
Just like you're my guy.
strange way. Oh,
You
my
know?
gosh, where'd that come from?
I'm not
This is-
rocking with anyone else.
What a wonderful, what I've seen in the ball strike review, it was pretty quick. I like it. That's from Willie. It's 2024. We have the best technology. Use it. No challenge, black and white. That's from Ryan Crawford. Baseball has to get some better athletes to be stars. More players like Mookie Betts. That's from John Fitzgerald. And sometimes people just give thoughts.
Drive-by takes.
Right.
And then you know how much I love those.
All right, Jackson, it's 10:46. We have one segment running here on Balloon Party today. Then we go down the hallway and we do QFTA. That stands for questions from the audience. Any question is welcome. And we're going to start that at about 11:30 on the TMA YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/TMA. STL. Phil Gallagher says, "Oh, now I'm your little secret." You guys are flirting.
No, people are taking this the wrong way. I just said dudes named Phil like me. I don't know what to tell you.
But yeah, you won't go on the record.
Yeah, I can have my own things.
Okay.
You know, I put out a lot to the listener. I give them a big chunk of me, and some things I keep for myself.
Apparently, guys named Phil.
This is what happens.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we are hosting a program called Balloon Party, and we're on 101 ESPN. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN and the 101 ESPN YouTube channel. Welcome back. Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Bennett Burkett with you here on the program. Jackson is in the midst of his wide berth Wednesday and also a revelation about a relationship with a gentleman named Phil.
No. I just said that usually if a guy is named Phil, they gravitate towards me.
Right. And then I said, oh, who is that? And then you got all squeamish.
Well, the thing that makes it so interesting is that it's not just one Phil. It's almost every Phil.
So you're servicing multiple gentlemen.
You know, this is just unbelievable. It's just unbelievable.
Like if you said, yeah, you know, I got a lot of friends named Bill.
Right.
And I'd go, oh, Bill who? And then you would name Lame Beer.
Right. Yeah. DeBuscher.
Nice. And then I go, okay, cool. I didn't know you knew those guys.
Right.
And then we'd move on to Roycroft not covering first.
You just got to get over there. I mean, what are we doing?
Especially when the momentum pulls you toward the bag. But
Jazz Chisholm.
But here, when you say the thing about Phil, and then it just becomes, you know, like McGuire in front of Congress, I have an obligation to the audience and the University of Missouri Journalism School, at which I have 8 remaining credit hours, to follow up.
Right. If I'm before a grand jury, can I plead the fifth?
No, you say I'm not here to talk about the past.
Okay, I'm not here to talk about the past. I'm here to talk about the now.
Fair enough. Wow, Jackson into Phils and Gates dogs and puppies. That's from Ryan Crawford.
I gate them, yes. Yep. I prefer any dog to be in a gate. You know, you don't want a lost dog situation.
All right.
Gate them up.
I'm telling you, this is getting a little suspicious. Do you have another question from this wide berth?
Yeah.
Ryan Crawford said he meant to say hates.
Oh, I don't hate. I don't hate. I just don't like them.
What if I got you a dog?
I would ask politely if you could take it back.
No further questions, Your Honor.
But that's okay, regardless. I said I'm not talking about the past, but I'm going to ask you a question about the past.
Perfect.
Willie Mayes, the Say Hey Kid, was famous for his running over-the-head catch that many would deem the greatest catch in baseball history. What are some of the best catches you have ever seen, Tim McKernan?
I feel like this is like Twitter take-ish. But because Willie Mays, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, I think Tim Kirkchin said this when I was watching Tim Kirkchin talk about this on SportsCenter. Willie Mays laughed about that when Tim Kirkchin said, that's the greatest catch I've ever seen. And Willie Mays goes, man, that's not even one of the 10 best catches I ever made. I feel like that catch, similar to we were talking about how lore over time can build up a legacy.
No doubt.
I'm just like, it was a good catch. But just right off the top of my head, if we're talking postseason, I'll take Jim Edmonds on Brad Ausmus, Game 7 of the NLCS, instantaneously. You know what I mean? And I'll take Andy Chavez on Scott Rowland in 2006. And I'm just in my Cardinal memory bank.
Yeah.
It was a great catch, but I think it happened at a time in which the world's eyes, you know, television was brand new, per Back to the Future. And they were all focused on this, and he was a phenom, and so it added to the lore. But over time, if a guy did that last night in Tampa, I don't think people would stop what they're doing. You see what I'm saying?
I think that...
So if Willie Mays wouldn't have said it, I'm not 24 hours after the man passed, I wouldn't go, yeah, and I got a take for you here. I know everybody's saying this is the greatest catch ever.
Right, and podcasts are talk about Jordan versus LeBron.
But, since he said it,
I'm with you.
Then I will elaborate. And you asked the question anyway, Phil.
Well, I think
Phil's lover.
What you just said validates kind of my first point in the first segment about guys being larger-than-life legacies. And how
as you were saying it, I was thinking that about Willie Mays' catch, but I didn't want to, on my own go, and by the way, I know this guy just died. But this Willie Mays catch take, I got to get off my chest.
Right, there's
since you asked me about it, I shall opine.
Personally, I would take Andy Chavez. That's, I think, maybe next to Norfolk State, the most disappointed at a sporting moment I have ever seen in my life. Me and my father were so excited. What a father-son moment it was to be able to watch the World Series together against my mom's favorite team growing up, the Mets, and Andy Chavez just literally...
NLCS.
NLCS. Pulls back our hope and our excitement, literally, and pulls it back in. And then doubles up Edmonds.
And I know this is results-oriented, and of course this show is pro-freedom, anti-results-oriented, and anti-kink shaming. However, Cardinals still went on to win that game despite that catch. I don't believe the Cardinals beat the Astros if Edmonds doesn't make that catch. And it was an absurd catch. So, yeah, the Willie Mayes catch is more a product, I think, of lore and the time.
Yeah.
Because I think if that catch is made, now in a regular season game or even a World Series game, I just don't think it's as big of a deal. I think it was a byproduct of the phenomenon that was Willie Mays when he appeared on the scene.
Yeah.
And on top of it, it was New York at the time.
At that ballpark, too, where he had to run so far to grab that ball. I think that's also part of the lore of his how far, and the lore of the stadium, of how crazy the dimensions are, and that he had to go out there and make that catch.
Yeah, I mean, if that would have been Minute Maid Park, he would have been out, mezzanine.
He would have caught a face full of wall, I'll tell you that much, on the hill.
Yeah.
Or some flagpole action.
That's correct. There used to be a lovely flagpole there. Jackson, I guess we had time for one more. Uh-oh. Wow. It sounds like Wide Berth Wednesday was limited to 3 questions and somebody's been exposed.
Sometimes I've asked more than 3 questions, to be fair, but sometimes you reach back in your quiver and reach for an arrow, and there's nothing left, so you go the hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah, we can go with favorite fry.
What do they do at dry cleaners? Like, what do they actually do? Like, how do they clean the shirt?
Has anybody seen Rockio? Is he still here? I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's prepping, so he doesn't have to ask, what do we have at dry cleaners tomorrow, Randy?
What are they actually doing? That you hand your clothes to them, and then it puts it in a room, and there's like a spinny carousel thing.
Martinizing season?
Well, what is that?
Delicious cleansing?
So they just spray it? And then
real nice though.
Okay, all right. I just never, I want to see the inner workings of a dry cleaner. I don't know what it does. I've never had anything dry cleaned. Maybe I have.
Really?
Probably have.
Wow, you must be the only Ladue grad to never have something dry cleaned.
Never personally. Like, I've never gone to a cleaners and dropped it off to them.
Well, that's because your butler does it.
My butler, yes. Jeeves.
James Carlton is in studio, and he nodded when I said you must be the only Ladue graduate to never have something dry cleaned. Morning, James.
Good morning, fellas. How you doing?
Jackson doesn't have your mic on because he's a butt ass.
Well,
Do you have his mic on now?
Yeah.
James, are you there?
Good morning, everybody. How we doing?
Yes. James, what time is it? I feel like we got plenty of time based on the failure of the Wide Berth Wednesday. I mean, there will be a meeting with management. I apologize. As a sponsor of the show, you had to witness.
I got a question in my back pocket if you need one real quick.
Well, we got a minute. So, yeah.
So I know that there's a game in December where the CFP is going to be going up against the NFL, and it's a regular season NFL game against the CFP. I don't know if the CFP...
I think it's Chiefs-Texans, too.
Do you think the CFP could beat them in the ratings, question 1? And hypothetically, this doesn't happen, but hypothetically, you have Allen versus Mahomes in like a Michigan versus Alabama game for the national championship.
Oh.
Which one are you watching?
I'm watching the college game, but I also am a self-proclaimed college football nerd. I love it. I can't get enough of it.
I would be with you, except that Mahomes-Allen matchup almost every time delivers. That game from, 2 or 3 playoffs ago was probably the greatest game I can remember where I didn't have a rooting interest.
I agree with you. Yeah. And I think more people probably, if you had that situation, now you're talking about the championship and Allen Mahomes at that point, not the regular season game in December against a college football playoff on-campus game. I think that would beat the college football playoff if you had that. How great is it going to be? You read Gabe's column on Power
Absolutely.
Zoo and how this is the most anticipated college football season of our lifetimes.
I can't wait. I cannot wait.
And 4 schools will host a playoff game in around December 20th, 21st. Oh, listen, you prefer Columbia doesn't have one if you're thinking optimistically because that means they get a bye.
Yeah.
But there is a real chance. Oh, my God.
Cousin Shane from the SEC podcast has Mizzou going 12-0.
Does he really?
Oh, God.
I think they just tapped into the Missouri fan base. They're like, oh, God.
I think you're right.
We've got 2 markets that are pretty decent size in St. Louis and Kansas City, and these people love us, so we're just going to keep giving them red meat. James Carlton of the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. I'm his client, and I'm one of many. I see you're up to 374 5-star reviews now on Google, people raving about the service you and your staff provide. James, I am very happy to be your client. Why should others become your client?
Well, we're very well staffed. We have 7 of us that are very experienced. I mean, our newest team member's been around 4 years, and everybody's been around, other than her, about 8 to 10 years. So we're very well tenured, very well staffed. So if you need something, there's no voicemail, there's no prompts. You just get it done right away and get the answer right away, because things like this just need to be painless and seamless, and too many facets of our lives are just filled with waiting on hold and hitting prompts. And we want to make the experience so much better than that. 314-961-4800, or go online at carltoninsurance.net.
There he is. That's my guy, James Carlton. Time for us to wrap it up. BK and Ferrario are up next. For Jackson Bennett Burkett and James Carlton, I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton, Toyota.